Hi, it's Roger here from What's on DisneyPlus.com, and I wanted to give a bit of an update and share my thoughts on my top 10 Marvel Disney Plus series. So now we've had Agatha All Along released, we've now got 10 shows, so therefore it's kind of a nice round number to kind of give my thoughts on them as I count them down. But before we go any further, make sure you do hit that subscribe button to keep up with the latest Disney Plus news. So coming in at number 10, I'm going to kind of pretty much say here, Echo. So this one was released earlier this year, 5 episodes. There was a lot of good stuff with it. I enjoyed it. I thought it was solid, but it probably wasn't my favourite one. It felt a little bit weird in terms of how they maybe cut it up, because they really did a lot of editing on it. There's a lot of stuff I liked, you know, connecting it with the Marvel Daredevil series, bringing in Kingpin. There was lots of elements that I liked, but I can't help but feel like Echo was a character that we just didn't need as a Disney Plus series. It's nice that she kind of fleshed out her character, and hopefully we get to see her in the upcoming like Daredevil series and stuff. But I'm not entirely sure where else they can use her really. There's certainly elements of this series which I did enjoy, and I would definitely say check it out. I like the fact that it was a little bit more R-rated, a little bit more mature. There's a lot of great things in this one, and it's just the fact that, you know, out of the 10, this is the one that I don't know if I will go back and watch her again. I enjoyed it. There is nothing necessarily wrong with it, but it just out of, you know, when I was putting together this list of going, yeah, that one is just, you know, a little bit below. So yeah, so we've got Echo at number 10. Going on to number 9, so let's now talk about, and this one is, the only reason I'm putting it in this slot is primarily because it's Agatha All Along. So I have been lucky enough to see all 4 episodes. Obviously the 4th episode's out this week, and I'm enjoying it. There's some elements to it I'm not so keen on. It's a little bit hit and miss. The latest episodes with the, like, when they start going off into the trial areas and stuff, it definitely feels more like a TV series, which is a good thing. I just don't think it's quite on par with like WandaVision. And the only reason I am putting it down at this low spot is because we don't know how it's going to end. This could be awful. You know, the last few episodes could be awful, and therefore I can't really put it up higher until I've seen the entire thing. So it's more of a technicality that it had to go really for me right at the bottom. As I said, I am enjoying it. It's not quite clicking yet, just yet, but obviously with 5 more episodes in this season to go, there's a lot of more character development, lots more stuff to enjoy. I do really like it. I definitely enjoy seeing Joe Locke's teen. I think he's a pretty cool character in this one. But let me know, are you enjoying Agatha? Love to hear your thoughts. And do you think this is the right slot for this one? Love to hear me in the comments below. So for my 8th pick, I'm going to be picking Secret Invasion. So this one was a bit of a disappointment. I think it started off really strong. I love the comic book series. I thought this one was going to be a lot better than it was. A real good, strong start, but then we kind of got into this weird thing at the end where Emilia Clarke gets all the powers, but none of the real good powers, and the fact that Samuel Jackson is sort of too, you know, he's too proud to call in the Avengers to help him with this massive situation. There's so much to the Secret Invasion, which could have been such a great storyline. I think this could have actually been a whole saga if they played it out properly with the big heroes, and rather than just doing it the way they did. I mean, the way they did it with like sort of War Machine, they could have done this so much better. It's a shame. It was had so much premise, so that could have been good, but it just didn't quite click. It was a very weak series. They spent a lot of money on it, and it just didn't quite click at the end. They didn't hit the superhero landing, which is generally a problem with these shows. But let me know what you think of this one. Do you agree with it? Do you not? Love to hear your thoughts on that in the comments below. Okay, so let's now go on to number 7, and that is Hawkeye. So this is, again, another series which was like the question of, at least he was an original Avenger. He was one of the big ones. And I think he could have, you know, having this series to expand out his character was good. Going back and seeing what he did with Ronan, sort of building up a new character with Kate Bishop. There's elements in here that I liked, you know, bringing back the Kingpin. But it wasn't really the Kingpin that we saw from the Daredevil series. And I do feel like he's kind of reverting back to that one there. And so this sort of Hawkeye series feels a little bit weird with it. There was, again, lots of elements of stuff that I liked. There were some good things. But this probably could have been a movie, and they could have trimmed a lot of stuff out, but I did enjoy it. It's definitely a fun, good series, but again, it's just not on that that top level for me. It was good, solid, enjoyable. didn't quite click. There were some elements to the whole thing of him getting shot in the face, and that kind of seems to have all been forgotten about. Obviously, we had the introduction of Echo. You also had some other cameos and stuff in there. So overall, solid, just not the incredible one. But let me know what you think of it. So in at number 6, I'm going to be picking Miss Marvel. Now, I was a little bit imming and ahhing of whether or not to in this slot or a bit later on. This was a show which I loved. There's a whole host of different things about this series that I love. She is just fantastic in this series. She just plays Miss Marvel so well. I love that kind of, the fact that she's a fangirl and her family and that whole dynamic. But there was a whole thing where they went off and did some time traveling aspects that I didn't really necessarily think they needed to do. I'm really hoping we get to see more of Miss Marvel, maybe a second series, or for her to do something like with the Young Avengers. It's such a great character. She was definitely the standout from the Marvels film. So more of this, please. This is a really, really good show. And like I said, if it wasn't for the whole flashback scene to India, which felt like a bit of a filler, like, okay, we got some episodes to fill, let's put that in. That's why here. But a really, really good show. I really did like this one. Okay, so in my 5th spot, I'm going to be going for She-Hulk Attorney at Law. Now, there's a lot of problems with this show, and I know a lot of people didn't like it, but I've got to say, this was the one series where it felt like a TV series that was working with the format that it was working. Each week she had a different case. There was stuff moving along there. It didn't, it wasn't great with the whole thing with the big Kevin robot at the end, and there's a lot of problems with it, and I can see how that worked. But I enjoyed it. I was laughing. I liked the humor. I liked it being a little bit, tongue-in-cheek. The whole thing with Daredevil, the different cameos and stuff. I just thought it was a fun show. And I enjoyed it. It didn't take itself too seriously. And I don't always want that. It's a shame we're not going to see... I don't think we're going to see any more of this character in terms of another series, because I think it's just too expensive with all the special effects and so on. But I'm really hoping we see more of her. I really enjoyed it. It was just a fun, easygoing series. Again, wasn't perfect, but I enjoyed the fun aspect to it. But let me know, do you agree with it? Do you not? Love to hear your thoughts on this in the comments below. Okay, so in my 4th spot, I'm going to be picking the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Now, this is a fantastic series. This was like, again, trying to pick between these next few shows was much harder to do. A great show, a little bit, again, iffy in the middle, but it was one of the second series to come out, hit some major points. I can't wait to see what Anthony Mackie does with the upcoming Captain America Brave New World film. I thought this was a really good one, seeing more of Sebastian Stan, incorporating other characters. The trouble is, there was a whole host of stuff that was introduced in here, like the Power Broker, is this going to get filled in somewhere else? Lots of great stuff with this series. It was really, really good, and there's just elements of it that was, you can see that they could kind of change stuff. I think also got impacted with the pandemic when they were filming it. But really good show. But yeah, so that's my 4th pick. In at number 3, I'm going to be picking Moon Knight. I love this show. I loved it. I loved the whole thing with a character that I wasn't familiar with, and I just love this character now. It just was so good. Oscar Isaac was fantastic in it. Again, I think this was a series that they could have done with a few extra episodes to help fill it out a little bit. I think that would have probably worked a little bit more. Hopefully we see this character popping up in other things. I loved the whole, that we didn't really have a clue what was going on with all the... It just was a really, really enjoyable show. I loved it. It's definitely one of my favourite shows from Disney Plus, and definitely one of my favourite Marvel shows. So that's really cool. So in my 2nd spot, I'm going to be picking WandaVision. So this is a fantastic series. The first one to come out the gate. Thought it was fantastic. Also it felt like it was like it come from the movies onto TV. The whole aspect of those first few episodes where it was kind of like rerunning through TV episodes of different eras. It fitted the format. It felt like it was part of the bigger world, and we knew it was then leading into Doctor Strange. Agatha was introduced here. She was fantastic. You had the number 1 single. It was just really, really, really good. And it is a must-watch if you're a Disney Plus subscriber. And finally, for my first pick, I'm going to be going with Loki. This is the only series to have got 2 seasons. I thought it was fantastic. This was the one that definitely felt like I was watching Marvel's, the movies. Obviously with Tom Hiddleston in there. Owen Wilson was fantastic. I just think he's so cool in everything he does, and this one really brought it in. The whole thing, story with Kang and stuff, I mean, obviously now it's kind of been sort of ended in with this one, but this was the show for me that is the highlight. If I was just going to say, it's like this or WandaVision is like, it was actually kind of, you know, imming and ahhing of which one to put at number one, and not been gonna lie, actually even just while recording of it, it actually switched places, because I was just like, no, I do prefer Loki more. And it is an amazing show. I thought it was fantastic. It is a must watch. There's so much stuff in here that I liked. The time branching, different characters and stuff. Obviously as well, it helped set up some of the stuff for Deadpool and Wolverine. I think the TVA is going to become a big thing anyway. But I love this show. It's definitely for me my favourite of the Marvel shows on Disney+. But let me know, what are your top 10? Let me know of them in the comments. Go check us out over at whatsondisneyplus.com. Like, follow and subscribe. And I shall see you guys soon. Laters.